welcome to the Erica Glessing Show, where you receive 8 minutes of inspiration. And really, we're looking today at problems and solving them. We have some really good problems today. I'm really excited to introduce you to my guest. The show is in Costa Rica today. Of all wonderful places. We have some good friends. We have John Lee Dumas is in Costa Rica, and we have some other friends that have horses in Costa Rica. So I'm very joyful to introduce you to Emily Pereira. And Emily is really in charge of the divine, radiant feminine. And today we're going to have some good conversation. So welcome. How are you, Emily?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Erica. Thanks for having me on your show.
So what's it like in Costa Rica today?
Oh, today in Costa Rica, it's delicious because we're actually in the middle of rainy season right now. But today is sunny, but breezy, and I'm sitting in my garden.
Nice. Oh, I know. And she actually, you guys, I have to tell you, on her webpage, which is at Emily Pereira, PEREIRA.com, she's wearing this kind of, I want to think I don't know what color that is. It's kind of, I don't know, but today she's actually wearing a hat of the same exact color.
Red.
It's like almost integrity. So one of the things when we were doing our pre-chat, we were talking about what to do when we're in our business and we have a lull or we're feeling lackluster, with my book publishing business, maybe there's just how can I scale it differently, or how can it be more fun, or what can I do to wake up with a little bit more enthusiasm? Why don't you just kind of walk us through the problem of if I'm not really feeling it, or if I'm feeling blocked in my business?
Yeah, this is something that I find so fascinating because really that feeling that you're describing is sort of an apathy, right? It's just just the opposite of enthusiasm. And for so long, I assumed apathy was like a laziness. And through the personal development work that I've done over the years, I've come to understand really that everything is energy. And when we are feeling those feelings of apathy, it's really just that we've set the bar for ourselves so high that anything that we're going to do isn't going to be good enough. And so,
oh my goodness,
best not to do anything at all.
It's so interesting because in my book space, I always did feel like none of my books, I have 3 books I've written myself. And even if they did this or that, it was never enough for me. And the interesting thing you talk about was when I did my podcast, Emily, it was so much. I always had that sense of it's over giving, it's over creating, it's out creating. And so it's fascinating. So how do we turn that around if we're in that space of getting that we don't think our businesses are performing enough, or we say, I love my business, but.
Right. Well, here's the thing. And especially, especially as women, but really everybody is impacted by it, is really just this perfection programming that we're supposed to just show up and slay. And so oftentimes what that ends up doing to us is, well, first of all, perfection is an illusion that doesn't exist in the natural world. So here I am sitting in my garden and I'm looking at beautiful flowers and trees and plants, and none of them are perfectly straight. None of them are perfectly symmetrical. And we're part of the natural world, right? So how or why could we be perfect or our businesses be perfect? The answer is we can't. But to constantly be referencing ourselves to a standard that doesn't actually exist means We're walking around in a constant state of judgment of ourselves, which can really make the apathy really overtake us and just feel oh, it's never going to be good enough, so I'm just going to lay here.
What it reminds me of is they say that when an airplane is going to its destination, it's it's never actually 100% on course.
No. that is very amusing.
I'm going to San Diego, but I'm not perfectly on course. But it's okay, guys, because we will get to San Diego. But I'm,
And I'm thinking of all the little planes that like 6-seater flights I take all around Costa Rica, where I'm constantly thinking like, do they know where they're going? It's completely cloudy right now.
Oh my gosh. Like a wing and a prayer.
Yes. So there is actually something that we can do that is really, really powerful. And it's going to sound so simple that you're not going to even believe how powerful it is. But really getting back into that place of understanding that we don't need to be perfect to create, to contribute and participate. We just have to give ourselves permission to be the beginner. The beginner isn't supposed to know anything, so the beginner can never fail. So this leads us to ultimate creative freedom. And just a little bit of my backstory is I didn't think I was a creative person until I was 30 years old, like not a creative bone in my body. And it wasn't until I adopted this insight and this understanding that that simply by suspending judgment, the words flowed freely. And I wrote a 600-page book, started to play guitar. Started to paint paintings. I started to play guitar and sing and write original songs, dance burlesque, do improv. I mean, it was just like this massive explosion of creative passion went off in my life that I was previously completely blind to.
Wow. I don't think actually I get a little jaded. This is probably my 600th interview. But I don't know that I've ever actually got present to being willing to be a beginner. It's a fascinating concept. So it's really
I mean,
bringing that in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is like, we don't have to look too much further than children to see they are beginners in everything that they do. And not only do they look like they're the happiest, individuals on the planet, but there's an organization called creativeminds.org that reports children of 5 operate at 85% of their creativity. And when we get to age 12, it goes down to 3%.
Huh.
So what are they doing? They're being beginners.
I had the opposite because I think I was always told I was too creative.
Interesting. By people who were maybe not creative.
So time just flew by. I mean, we really didn't have time to do almost anything, which rarely happens on the show, but it definitely happened today. So Emily Pereira, I'm so glad you could come. She's in Costa Rica just doing beautiful things. She's got a beautiful book coming out. Why don't you just let people know how they can reach you and find out more and tune into that creative source?
Absolutely. You can go to my website, which is emilypereira.com, and that is P like Paul, EREIRA, and then / Erica Glessing. And I have some freebies for you all: 6 ways to rev your radiant energy, a video on authenticity, and also the opportunity to set up a free clarity call with me.
What? I'm so excited. You gave me an Erica Glessing link. Oh my God.
Yes, you have your own link.
Not everyone does that, guys. See how little it takes to get me like so flippin' happy. So thanks for coming, Emily. I'm so joyful. And everybody go to that link and I'll put it in the notes so everyone can click and go get some free yummy things in a discovery call with Emily Pereira.
Thank you again so much.